name's Gavin Starks, and I've arrived back here really having come full circle. I originally studied astrophysics and then went into computer music and then ended up working at Jordell Bank for a couple of years where I was working on a range of projects, data processing, image processing, a bit of teaching, and then gave up the life of academia for the commercial world and went to help set up Virgin Net, which is a big UK ISP. And for the last 4 years I've been running a streaming company, and last year I went to Macrolab in Scotland to discuss some of the projects that were going on at the Latvian Radio Telescope project, and turning the output of Radio Telescope into a streaming radio station, which really was combining all of the crazy ideas and sort of wishes that I wanted to combine into one place. And now I find myself back here, strangely, in a slightly different capacity as part of this documentary.
Radio astronomers have a problem, and the fundamental problem is that radio waves are 100,000 times longer than light waves. That means to get the same image quality, your radio telescope has to be 100,000 times bigger. Now, you're talking about a couple of 100 kilometres. You cannot make one telescope 200 kilometres across. So the basic idea, if you imagine a line of telescopes, let's say 5 kilometres long, they have one at Cambridge, and we move that to the North Pole so that the central telescope was at the North Pole, then as the Earth rotates, those two lines, or the line of telescopes, will actually rotate round, and they'll fill out an area whose diameter is 5 kilometres in 12 hours. Now, luckily you don't have to be at the pole. You wouldn't want to be on the equator, I don't think, but at this latitude it doesn't work too badly. So that's the idea. It's called Earth rotation aperture synthesis, which is building up an aperture by using the fact that the Earth is going round to change everything in the course of a day. So we've built one such instrument. It's called Merlin, Multi-Element Radio-Linked Interferometer Network, if you like that, Merlin. And we have a total of 5 outstations. We have one near the Welsh borders at Oswestry, one near Northwich, one near Darnhall, one south of Birmingham, and one at Cambridge. That's actually quite a big telescope. That's a 32-metre dish, so it's our second largest telescope, is over at Cambridge. Currently, the signals from those telescopes are brought back to Jodrell using microwave radio links. They have a somewhat limited bandwidth. We can bring back 128 megabits of data per telescope per second, which sounds quite a bit, but in fact our telescopes are capable of receiving a far higher data rate than that. But up to now there's been no way to bring that back to Jodrell. Starting in hopefully a couple of months' time, we're going to begin to link up all of our telescopes with a fibre optic network. And then we'll be sending back 30 gigabits of data per telescope per second, which is about 10 times the UK internet traffic. And it will make Merlin about 30 times more sensitive. It's going to make a major difference to what we can do. So it's a major upgrade we're doing to Merlin. Costing about £8 million in total.
We're kind of getting in the swing of it. You know, we were supposed to have the big software upgrade.
Yeah, well, I know.
Until it arrives, I'm learning to use the old system.
Okay, fine. That's very good of you.
So this just gives you a first order look at the data. So
that's actually very good data. That's raw data from Merlin, and that's, you don't often see it better than that. The fact that that green line is not straight is a result of the atmosphere changing above the telescopes. But we do in fact have a way of trying to eliminate the effects of the atmosphere. It takes a lot of computer power, but that's one of the first stages of analysis that we do, which is to try and remove the effects of the atmosphere above us.
I always find the way they do all those fancy electronic tricks with Merlin, it's just amazing.
Well, I'm staggered it ever works, frankly.
Yeah.
But even though I helped design it, still staggered it works.
It's just...
I did the easy bit.
And how's that now evolving with the e-Merlin project?
Well, let me just say first for the Merlin network, the push here, the priority here at Jordell Bank was to increase that separation of telescopes as far as possible and to escape beyond the limitations of cable-connected telescopes to use these radio links. But although we gained resolution and we were the only ground-based network of telescopes that could match the Hubble Space Telescope in terms of the detail of images we could produce, what we lost was sensitivity. The narrow bandwidth radio links that bring the signals back to Jordell Bank for correlation can only transmit less than half of 1% of the energy that in principle is collected by the dish. So 99.5% of the energy that's been collected by the dish, these photons that have travelled across 10 billion light years of the universe, landed on the dish, been collected and amplified by the receiver. 99% of that energy has to be thrown away because we can't afford to transmit it back to Jordell Bank.
And the speeds of that, using that system, were 128 kilobits a second?
That's about 100 megabits per second link. It's actually an analog link, but it's about equivalent to 128 megabit digital link. So we realised some years ago that now with optical fibre connections we could get that bandwidth back. We could get back the sensitivity that we lost in having these narrow radio links. And so because we've already got the infrastructure in place, we've got these telescopes distributed all over the country, we can realise their full potential just by bringing their signals together on optical fibre. So that's been the challenge, to find a way of doing that.
Yeah, and the data rates then that you're going to have on the e-Merlin network are going to be orders of magnitude greater.
The data rates are huge. We want to transmit 30 gigabits per second from each telescope, and there's 7 telescopes together in the network. 5 of them are remote telescopes, so that's 150 gigabits per second. Sustained traffic converging on Jordell Bank.
Which is probably an order of magnitude greater than the entire UK internet traffic.
Well, just a single telescope from e-Merlin will be transmitting more than the average UK total public internet traffic.
So, and in order to achieve that, you're buying or implementing a dark fibre network of your own. Do you want to talk a little bit more about it?
The plan is to do this on a dark fibre network and use our own custom transmission equipment. The reason is that other Jordell Bank engineers are working on the fibre transmission equipment for another network of telescopes, a network of 64 telescopes up in the Chilean high Andes desert, in the Atacama desert. There are the fibres are laid specially for that network, and so a purpose-built transmission system is being developed, and our engineers are developing some of the fibre transmission equipment for that, so we can redeploy that in our e-Merlin network.